Let's discuss how we got here, shall we?
But if it was the Knicks, it would have been the best final forever.
If they weren't all in the hospital. But yeah, here we go. Pacers, Knicks. It was Game 7. Indy wins it. 131-09. That was not fun to watch at all. They had a playoff record percentage shooting from the field of just over 67%. Tyrese Haliburton finished with 26 points. Jalen Brunson, I mean, why? Of course he did. The cherry on top left in the second hand with a broken left hand. Dante DiVincenzo threw in his 39. But afterwards, Jalen Brunson was asked if the season was a success. And he quite simply said, no. He's right. Right, Lou?
Yeah, I would have to agree with him. You know, on the outside looking in, we don't know what goals they set internally as an organization. We don't know how far they thought they could go. In a lot of circles, this is an upset, right? This is an upset for the Indiana Pacers. A lot of people had the Knicks winning this series. So if you go into it with that mentality and you lose in 7 games to a team that you feel like you should have beat in the second round and you had aspirations to get to the conference finals, absolutely, this is not a successful season to the New York Knicks. I think they got a lot to work on, a lot to build on as well. You know, they put a lot of good work in, got the New York fan base back excited about New York Knicks basketball. But all in all, if you're not a young up-and-coming team and you lose in the second round, a lot of teams will have this sentiment. So I agree with them.
I like it.
I think it's the right answer, but I think he's wrong. I think it's such a successful season. I think as banged up as they are, the adversity they've had to go through. Sorry about that.
Good God Almighty.
I think it's a hell of a season, and not many teams can overcome all the injuries, losing arguably their best player. Obviously, Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson became that, but losing him, losing their starting center, losing their best center. OG, he tried last night. You could just tell he wasn't right. So I think he'll look back on this and look at, maybe a week or two and realize that they have a lot to be proud of. They got the Garden jumping again. The Knicks are a thing. The NBA is cooler. The NBA is better when the Knicks are a thing, and that has a lot to do with this season and Jalen Brunson and what he's brought to this entire city. So I think it was a huge success. I think they have a lot to look forward to, and I think if they were healthy, I think they win the series.
I would agree with you if they lose to a team that we felt that has been superior to them throughout the course of the season. I don't think they felt like that about the Indiana Pacers.
No, God, no.
So that's why I feel like he's
And it's a frustrating loss, but again, they literally didn't have Jalen Brown or Jalen Brunson in the second half. They didn't have OG, so it's like they're literally rolling out there with role players in reality, and like that's hard to overcome, and especially when their entire offense has been going through Jalen Brunson. He's been their guy. He's been their everything. So again, I think it's frustrating. I think it's the right answer because there are expectations. They do want to win a championship, but with the hand they're dealt with all these injuries, they were plagued, they were doomed. They made the Knicks cool again, and I think that alone is a success.
And basketball is a game of inches, right? If the New York Knicks win last night, I think this conversation is completely different. I think we're talking about the game that Dante DiVincenzo had.
Yeah, of course.
9 for 15 from the three-point line.
Dear Lord.
Almost had a 40 ball, giving them an opportunity to win a basketball game, and they fall short. That's why we love these games. That's why we love these scenarios, because one little instant, one little thing can change the entire trajectory of everything that you want to talk about.
So if the Knicks won this game, is it a successful series? Because we don't think they're going to beat the Celtics anyway. So
if they were healthy?
But no, like as they are right now. If they just won this series, went to the conference finals, and then got swept by Boston, is that a successful season?
I think so.
It's an asterisk season, is it not? Because you're going to always be like, they had great potential and they did amazing things, and then literally no one was available.
And you had the opportunity to get swept. Like there's the difference. They're on vacation today.
Like Pacers, successful season no matter what.
No matter what.
For sure.
Successful season no matter what.
Overachieved.
In-season tournament. Listen, we hadn't talked about the Indiana Pacers since the in-season tournament, and they went through a lot of turbulence, a lot of ups and downs in that season. So to fast forward and for them to be in this position now, you got to give them a lot of credit. And on the flip side of that coin, got to agree with Jalen Brunson. We shouldn't be the ones on vacation right now, based on how our separate seasons.
And if you're the Knicks coaching staff, organization, for Office fans, you love this answer. You know, as cool as they are, as poppin' as he made this team again, as big of a season he's had, he wants more. He expects to win. He doesn't think it's a successful season just to get to the second round and lose in a Game 7. And it's frustrating at home in the Garden to lose a Game 7. The Pacers played great, but I think there's frustration there, and the injuries, obviously everything on top of that. But you got to be proud if you're the Knicks of how they played this year.
Look how professional I am being, Lou. I feel like you're not giving me any props.
You're working on it. You're working
whatsoever.
on it. Your face says something different.
There's a lot going on here. They, of course, the Tibbs slander it began a while ago, let's be honest. But Brunson did take a minute to defend Tibbs, said he should not take the bulk of any of the blame for losing this. Where are we on that?
Well, here's the thing. The injury thing, I can agree with that. The minutes, that's too much. But fracturing a hand, that's bad
Abdominal
luck.
strain?
Yeah, like, that's unfortunate. If it's a hamstring, we're talking.
Tear.
Things like that, but a fractured hand has nothing to do with the minutes he's playing.
Bad luck.
That's just an unfortunate break. But again, I think there's got to be a balance. You see how much production. You see how much production they got from Alec Burks. You see, like, so when you look at that and you see how he could have been doing.
And
that
shout
more.
out to you. You were early on saying that he was going to give them.
They could.
some
I think
production.
Shake Milton still could have got more opportunity. I think he's a solid player. So I think there is different ways he can balance out the minutes to avoid things like this. But a lot of these stuff is uncontrollable. There's no way Jalen Brunson playing this many minutes is going to cause him to break his hand.
It's also fair for Tibbs to get some criticism, though.
For sure.
Yeah, a little bit.
For Jalen, for Josh Hart, the first time he goes to the bench in Game 3 is
That's crazy.
It's insanity, man. It's insanity. Like, you have to find ways to buy minutes for these guys. Maybe in Game 3, Games 1, 2, that works. But this thing went 7 games, right? This went to the end of the road, and so that stuff starts to matter when you get down to Game 6, Game 7. It might be funny and a joke in Games 2 and 3, but at 7, you can't tell me that he needs more rest. So Tibbs being criticized is a fair criticism to some extent when it comes to these injuries.
Well, it's going to be there's going to be a lot of that, I am sure. The offseason, though, is officially here now for the Knicks. So what do we expect to happen?
They're going to continue to be aggressive. They've got 8 first-round draft picks they can trade. Obviously, they have seconds, they have swaps. So they're looking for that next player if he is available, whenever that's going to be. There are a few issues, though, right? You have the OG Anunoby free agency that potentially looms. They got him in that big trade. They gave up a lot of assets for him, Emmanuel quickly, draft picks, et cetera. Will they be able to keep him? I think that's going to be their priority. But then 2 other players, Jalen Brunson, he's extension eligible. We'll see if it makes sense for him to extend now or wait till 2025. But Julius Randle, he's got a player option in 2025. He's eligible for a 4-year, $188 million contract extension this summer. Or I should say 4-year, $181.5 million contract extension. Either way, significant money. Teams are monitoring the situation for sure, because how they handle that extension situation, if that is a conversation, what transpires, I think that'll be interesting. Because you think about movable assets, salaries, obviously Julius Randle's got the number if you are to make a big trade.
Okay, here we go.
Don't do it.
They can't do that.
You can't trade Julius Randle?
No, they can't pay him that money.
So, and you're saying you can't trade him?
Correct.
Interesting.
I think Julius Randle's great. I love Julius Randle. I love his game. I just think the potential and everything that happened once he went out, Jalen Brunson became a star. They had more success with him out. Do I think he helps their team? I think he's actually a good fit. Yes, but I think they need another scorer. I think they need another wing scorer. I'd rather see them try and bring in a Donovan Mitchell, bring in a Devin Booker. I know, but
Donovan Mitchell, what?
I mean, not Donovan, Devin Booker.
Oh.
I think they need someone like that. By the way, and it's the Knicks.
He's not trading Devin Booker.
I got
I'm just saying, I think
in the future.
When I watch the Knicks, I see Jalen Brunson, who's unbelievable. He's pounding the ball. He's taking a lot of contested shots. They need someone besides that is their offense. They don't have like a flow. They don't have a movement.
You need more size, though?
I mean, they definitely.
They got it.
No, they got
just
Mitchell.
all hurt.
They honestly, they got good size. Hartenstein's great.
going to want to get
Mitchell
paid.
Robinson's
Keep
great.
him.
I just think the odd man out now with the success they had with Julius Randle. I think they got to decide on him, and I think OG is a perfect fit for Jalen Brunson. I think his versatility, his defense, the success they had. As soon as they made that trade, they were a different team. So it's almost like Julius Randle goes out, they get OG, Jalen Brunson becomes a star, and the Knicks are good again. So I think that's the obvious move to me.
I don't know. I think Jalen Brunson has become a star, but if I'm the New York Knicks, cool, now I got 2. Because I had one guy that had an emergence right before Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle gets hurt. Now you give an opportunity to Jalen Brunson. Yes, they play very good basketball when Julius Randle was out. But Chandler, you and I know how that works. You're playing with house money now. You got guys that's injured. You have a built-in reason to go out, play loose, play free, no pressure on you to play good basketball. I think we saw a product of that with this Knicks team. Nobody had Even though Jalen Brunson is saying this is not a successful season, nobody had them winning the championship. We had them being competitive. We had them being contenders, and that's what they were. And I think they'll still be this. They'll probably still lose in the second round with Julius Randle. So why shake the tree when you have these guys?
It's not if they were all healthy.
It's similar to me to the Houston situation, like with Sengun out, Jalen Green turns into a star.
Hold on, Beadle's here now. What did you say, Beadle?
What?
You said not if they're
If
all
the
healthy?
Knicks were all healthy,
See, now come on.
you think they would have won? You would think they would have lost the second round?
Against the Pacers?
Yeah.
Hell no.
I think they would have beat the Celtics
Okay.
if they were all healthy. I'm not crazy. I don't know why we're buying.
You
the
haven't
Celtics
believed in the
so much.
Celtics all
I
year
don't
long.
believe in the Celtics. Yes, you
yes.
said that, but
I think if the Knicks had Bogdanovich in this series, they would have beat the Pacers. Like I think they lost 4 or 5 solid, consistent role players.
I want to take that back. Okay, they don't lose.
yeah.
If they have Julius Randle and all of these guys.
Yeah.
So why are we looking to move on from him? Is it the price tag that's the problem, or is it chemistry? Because I feel like you have all the pieces in house already.
I will
I don't
say
think
their biggest issue this season obviously was health. So the fact that they have
Absolutely.
something to look forward to next year, they have the pieces. There's no panic. They're in a great situation. Do you want to dump your 4 years, 180 million, whatever it is, in the Julius Randle?
181.7.
That's a lot. That's a decision to make.
181.5.
How much is OG going to cost? Yep. You're going to extend
Hartenstein.
Jalen Brunson. You got to give him equity of the team, what he's done the last 2 years. So he's getting paid. So I just think there's
But
a
you got
decision.
time.
Yeah,
Time.
but,
If
there-
you are
but
this
there's no reason to
snake-bitten-
panic for the New York Knicks. They're in great hands.
Back-to-back years in the second round.
Yeah,
That's pretty
they're
impressive.
on the
Do
up.
you not feel like when you have a season like this with this many injuries, like is there a paranoia about are we going to always have these injuries?
Well,
I know
if
you
you're
can't
if you're
control
playing
it.
40-plus minutes and you're going the same system and you're grinding and you're taping your ankles for shoot-around, I don't think those injuries are going to stop. But there's always going to be things nagging. But I do think that they had the bench, they had the players, they just had injuries. So then Tibbs almost had no choice but to play these guys a lot of minutes towards the end.
There's no one left.
There was literally no other
It's
option.
like next dude up, whoever that is. Rick Carlisle said that when you win a Game 7 at the Garden,
We ain't trying
it's
to hear.
immediately history.
We're not trying to hear it. Because I remember at the beginning of this series, you
refs.
wanted to talk about the refs and small
Oh,
markets.
I believe he cried. Yes.
And no, just play basketball. You have a talented enough team to go out there and compete and win a Game 7 in the Garden, and y'all did it. So if I'm the leader of that team, if I'm one of the players on that team, I want my coach to echo that sentiment. I want him to go in and say, yeah, we can beat them. We don't care where we are. That should have been the message from the beginning, not at the end. So I ain't trying to hear it.
I will say that to go into I didn't think both home teams would lose Game 7s last night.
Crazy
There's no chance. And the Garden was jumping. You see all the celebrities. They were there as soon as the doors opened. Like, it was electric in
Wait,
there.
what was the video?
Shout out to Fat Joe.
Yeah, what?
Fat Joe he was on Instagram. He said he walked 16 blocks to get to the Garden because the traffic was bad.
I
But
love
I'll
that
say,
for him.
Lou,
Said he couldn't miss a second.
Lou brought it up early. This in-season tournament, the experience, that was valuable. The Pacers, the moment
think
wasn't
so?
the moment wasn't too big.
Okay.
They were ready for this. Think about it. They're playing in front of all these celebrities on prime time on the Madison Square Garden, and they had the most historic start first half of all time in postseason history. So I think that in-season tournament, like Lou mentioned, we praised it. We haven't talked about them since. We talked about how they're going to change their offense. They're going to have to play slower. They played so fast last
they
night
played
yesterday.
40 points in the first quarter.
They were unbelievable, and I do think that experience. They were not
What did they
nervous.
shoot in the first half? 70%?
70.
60. Oh yeah, 70 was in the first half.
76% or something.
The whole game. God.
It was insane. So I think that was the most
Well, there's no one
impressive
left to
thing, that the
defend.
moment wasn't
Yeah.
too big for them. We always talk all series, Jalen Brunson this, Jalen Brunson. Tyrese Haliburton had to be the equalizer. What did you say?
She's trying
What?
hard.
What?
She's trying to be professional.
I can shoot
today.
67% if no one's defending. There's no one left to defend.
Yes, they are. They are pros. DiVincenzo had 39.
I know,
There's no
thank goodness.
excuses. No
Deuce
excuses.
McBride in the game.
No excuses.
Who's he supposed to guard, Shams? He's this
guard
big
somebody.
They
next to
didn't guard
this big.
anybody. That's the problem. They didn't guard. They gave away a 40-point
The
first
Pacers,
quarter
they
on
made
their
like
home
their
court in the game.
They made their first 11 or 12 shots, and the only time that they missed, it was a Turner's dunk literally rattled out. They literally could not miss.
Sports gods suck.
It was insane. 29 of 38, 77% in the first half. That's most in the
that's
postseason since
insane.
1997.
God, who did it in 97? That's insane to me.
39 points in the quarter.
Yeah.
That's the most in the Game 7 history.
Yeah, I
so
ate an
you
entire
can't win a lot of
gallon of
games
ice
giving
cream
up that. Like,
during
it's
the-
nuts.
A lot of history last night.
A lot.
You can't give
Too
up
much.
70 points in a Game 7 at home and expect to win. Like, they were doomed from jump. These guys were getting easy buckets. They played super fast. They almost did the bet. We were talking about how the half court slows down against. Pacers, every time the Knicks would score, they would get out.
Yeah.
They would inbound the ball fast.
You got to think. In 7 games, the schemes are out, game planning is out, the scouting is out. It's my team versus your team. We know what y'all gonna do. You know what we're gonna do. It's gonna be the better team win. And Indiana said, you know what? Let's go back to our natural identities. Let's get out and run, get stops, be a fast basketball team. They caught New York slipping and it worked for them. Like I said, they had a 40-point first quarter. That set the tone for the next 3 quarters of that game, and it wasn't close from there.
Shall we talk about the hoodie? The Tyrese Haliburton hoodie? This is not before the game. This is after the game. The Reggie Miller choke sign on it. Look, in any other context, it's kind of a cool hoodie.
Yeah.
But what do we think about it
I
after?
love it, given the
love it.
history. I love all the shit talking that's happened. They said afterwards the Knicks were talking all series long, and it was physical. You could see it. There was so many different altercations. The physicality was high. And that's what I was saying earlier. Tyrese Haliburton, he had to equalize Jalen Brunson. He had to be the best player on the floor. And
Yeah.
last night he was. And whoever was talking shit to him courtside, I hope he learned a lesson because he got hot.
It
in
was
that
Spike.
first-
Who was it?
He got hot in that first quarter.
I hope
He
it's not
set the
Spike
tone.
for the sake
He
of this
didn't
hoodie.
miss.
He didn't
Like,
miss.
he did- it was insane.
It was an unbelievable offensive performance. It was a historic performance. And literally, when you have a game like that, you deserve to win and move on. So the fact they did do that at MSG in Game 7 on the road, crazy impressive.
To the winner goes the spoils.
Man,
They won. What you want?
I guess so.
And now here's your prize, the Boston Celtics. You don't think it's very good.
I think this series is going to suck, and I don't even want to watch it. There, I said it. That's my honest assessment of this Eastern Conference.
Do you think this?
Finals.
Okay, we'll get there.
I will watch it. It's my job, but I'm not.
League
not
contractually
stoked.
obligated?
I'm contractually obligated. No, but it's you want to be like, I'll say this. At least the West, a little more excited about that.
Oh,
I'm a little more
yeah.
excited about that, and here's why. Let's get to it. All of those futures bets